This is Sarah, and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make a cute little cozy or koozie that looks like a pencil that's the perfect gift for someone who's a teacher, or maybe for your child to take on the first day of school to give to their new teacher. It's a wonderful thank you gift also at the end of the year when you want to tell that teacher, thank you for putting up with my child. And these are super cute. This is one of our series that goes on your basic 16-ounce mason jar. It can be used as a drink to hold the teacher or your coffee or tea or water or whatever. I know a lot of classrooms now like to have every child have a water bottle, and I think that's a great idea. And the teacher could put their water in this if they wanted to. And then you'll notice I have another one here. Of course, it can be used for pencils, even in the jar. And so this is just an alternative that I'll talk to you about after a bit, just in case you don't want to have that glass jar in your classroom. Now, this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you need to make a pencil cozy is 4 different colors of yarn. This is some cotton that I had on hand. This is a variegated brown with some yellow, some purple, and some bright pink. For today's demonstration, I'm going to use worsted weight Red Heart Super Saver yarns. And that's because this one's not going to be used as a drink container, but as a pen holder. I'm using the lipstick pink, a gray, a brown, and this bright school bus yellow. We're going to be crocheting today with our H hook. The H hook is a 5mm crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in your ends, and of course a pair of scissors. All of my jar cozies fit the 16-ounce mason jar canning jars. Now, if you're going to be giving this to your child's teacher or to a friend to put on their classroom desk, you may not want to use a glass jar. And so I have another alternative that you might want to use, and that is this ice cream container. Now, this is a nice plastic hard. It'll work just fine, and they do fit the cozies. And you can find this brand, and I stuffed this yarn in here so you could see it since it's clear. And you can find this brand at Walmart or Target or Sprouts or just about any of your grocery stores in the ice cream aisle. We're going to begin at the bottom of our cozy. We're going to make our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to join this in a circle, so we'll put the tail of our yarn through that loop, snug that down, and then we'll just make that little stay knot that keeps our loop attached. All right. I'm going to put my hook in that chain 5 loop, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. And now I'm going to stitch 11 more double crochets, so I have a total of 12. Yarn over, go in that 5 chain loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. So now I have 2. Alright, let's see how many I've stitched. Here's our chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 2 more. we want a total of 12 double crochets. All right, so there's 12. We're going to join that to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, for row 2, we're going to place a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3 because our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And then we'll place 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And so we'll be going from 12 double crochets to 24. So we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of the 12 double crochets around. I have stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets, so I have 24 double crochets. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I'm only going to chain 1. For row 3, we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the 24 stitches around. So we'll go right in that next stitch and stitch a single crochet. A single crochet, you go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops. So just 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And we'll do this all the way around till we get back to our first single crochet. I have stitched a single crochet in each double crochet around. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 3. Now on this next row, we're going to be stitching in the back loops only. If you look at the top of your stitches, where it looks like there's a braid, you'll notice that there are 2 loops, one on this side and one on this side. The front loop is the loop that's facing you. The back loop is the loop that's facing away. And we're going to be placing 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets, but stitching in that back loop only. Yarn over. You'll notice I'm going right in the back loop and stitching a double crochet. And as you stitch in these back loops, you'll notice that there'll be a line of stitches across here where we didn't stitch those loops. And by stitching in the back loop only, this helps our jar, Cozie, stand up nicely and fit around the jar. So I'm stitching 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets around, stitching in the back loops only. And again, your stitch count is going to be 24. And it's not going to increase at all for the remainder of our cozy. You will have 24 stitches on each row. And that's the way that's going to sit, and you'll see that line of stitches that we didn't stitch. And that's going to make a nice flat bottom to our jar, Cozie. So I'm just going to continue stitching 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets, working in the back loops only. So I've stitched the 24 double crochets working in the back loops only. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're done with the brown portion of our cozy. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my brown off. And now we're going to join in the yellow, which is the pencil portion. So we're going to hook that on our hook, pull it through the loop, and now we're going to chain 3. Alrighty, snug those down, and we're going to, for this first row, just stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around. And we're no longer stitching in the back loop. We're going through both of those loops. The back loop was just for that 1 row, just to give the cozy a better way, or a more sturdy way of sitting up. So I'm going to continue around this row with my yellows, just stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. I'll join to the top of my chain 3 and chain 3. So again, I finished my row of double crochets. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now, this row is going to be just a little bit different. Our chain 3 still counts as a double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then the next stitch, we're going to stitch a front post double crochet. Yarn over, we're going to go around the post of the stitch and stitch a double crochet. And that's going to give us that look, like on this one where we have the front post stitches. It gives us the look like the sides of a pencil. It's just a little added extra technique. So what we'll do is we'll stitch a double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. Then we'll front post in the next. Front post double crochet. So we'll have 3 double crochets and then 1 front post double crochet. And then we'll repeat that. 1, 2, 3 double crochets. And then we'll stitch a front post in the next. And that, just like I said, gives us that look of the sides of a regular yellow number 2 pencil. There's my 3 double crochets, and now I'm stitching a front post. And we'll repeat this around the sides till we reach back over to our chain 3. So I've completed this row of working 3 double crochets front post all the way around, and you should end on a front post stitch. And then again we'll join to the top of our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now the next 3 rows, rows 7, 8, and 9, we're going to stitch exactly like we did this one. Our chain 3 counts as a double crochet. We'll double crochet in the next 2. So that makes 3 double crochets together since our chain 3 counted as our first one. And then we'll double crochet front post around the front post of the previous row, and then repeat. 1 double crochet in the next 3, next 3 double crochets, and then 1 front post double crochet around the front post double crochet of the previous row. And I think you can kind of see how it kind of looks like the sides of the pencil. Alrighty, so this was 6, the row we're working on is 7, and then you need to do 8 and 9 exactly like this. 3 double crochets and a front post double crochet all the way around, join, chain 3, and repeat. So we'll repeat that up through row 9. So I completed those rows up through row 9, and I think it even more shows you how it kind of looks like the corners of a pencil. We'll go ahead and cut our yellow off. And when we joined with the slip stitch, but we didn't chain 3 or chain 1 or anything because we're changing colors. I'm bringing in my gray, and we're going to chain 1. Snug everything down on the inside. I'll just tuck those in until we get a chance to weave those in, just to get them out of the way. And with this row, all we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And this is representing that little metal portion of the pencil that holds the pink eraser in. So we're going to do 2 rows like this. We're going to do 1 row of single crochets all the way around. We'll join, and then we'll do another row. On the cotton one, I used sort of a purple color because I couldn't find a gray in cotton yarn. And so I'm using this gray so that it looks like the metal portion of the pencil holder, or the eraser holder, that's around the top of the pencil. So basically I'm just stitching 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around, and then I'll join to the first single crochet, and then I'll repeat this row. So I stitched that first row of single crochets. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then again stitch 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. We'll work that all the way around, and then we'll join to the first single crochet, and we'll change to the pink and add the eraser portion. I completed that second row of single crochets of the gray. I joined with a slip stitch and I cut the yarn, and now I'm going to join in the pink. And this is the eraser portion of our cozy. Just going to stuff those strings inside again. We do have a little bit of weaving in to do. Alright, so I'm going to chain 3 because we're going to stitch a row of double crochets next. So we're going to have 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets around. And we'll work it all the way around again, and then we'll join to the top of that chain 3. And then we'll just have 1 more row to do, and we'll be finished with our cozy. And then I'm going to show you how to add a cute little face to your pencil if you want to. So just to repeat, 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets around, and then we'll join to the top of the chain 3. I finished that row of double crochets. I joined to the top of my chain 3, and now I'm going to do my last row, which is just 1 single crochet in each double crochet around. And remember, this last row, I like to try to stitch these single crochets just a little bit tighter, just to give it a nice finished edge. But if you're going to use the ice cream container, you don't have to stitch this row quite so tightly because it doesn't have the neck that goes in like our jar does. And I'll show you more about that when we get finished and we slide them on. Alrighty, so I'm going to finish up this row of 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. Then I'll show you how to weave in those ends and add that cute little face. I completed that last row of 1 single crochet in each stitch. Tie that off. I've already cut my yarn. I'm going to go ahead and pull it to the inside. And what I do when I make something like this that has lots of color changes, I just turn it to the inside, because now we have all of these ends to weave in. And so what I do is I'm going to use the yellow one so it'll be a little easier for you to see. I try to keep my color within the color that I'm weaving in. I'll slide my hand down inside, and I'm just going to go through the yellow stitches, trying to go through fibers and stitches, not through the holes. I'll go one way, go up a stitch, and then maybe come back the other way, and I usually try to do that 3 times. And I've always had good results with holding those in place. And we'll go ahead and do all of these inside weave-ins real quick, just like that. We've got a lot of them to do, and don't forget the one at the bottom also. To weave in all those ends and then flip it back over, and I'll show you how to add a cute little face. I've got all my ends woven in, and I flipped it back out, and I wanted to try to center it. This is the back here, and I wanted to try to center those 2 lines for the front of my cozy or koozie, so I can show you how to add just a simple little face. Well, what I do is I go between those 2 center front post stitches, and I go right up in a stitch, not a hole. I'm going to leave myself, I always leave too long of a tail, but I'd rather have too much yarn than not enough. Alright, so we're going to make a little French knot, and the way you do that is you wrap it around 4 times, and then we're going to go right back in, but we're not going to go where we came from. We're going to go next to it, making sure we go in a stitch and not a hole. Alright, so there's one little French knot eye. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go to the stitch next to it and do the same thing. There's the stitch, and then because there's those 3 double crochets, I put it in the first one, we skip the second one, and then I'm in the third one right across on the same row. We'll do it exactly the same. 3 or 4 wraps, whichever works best for you. So there's 2 tiny little eyes. And what I do, I'm going to show you on the inside because I don't want those to slip back through. So I'll go ahead and tie just a little knot. Just to keep those in place, okay? So there's the little eyes. And now we want to make a little smile. And I kind of like to make it a little bit cockeyed. I don't know if that's a word or not. And so since I started over here, I'm going to go in that stitch, 2 rows down, and I'm just going to make some long stitches. And remember, this needs to stretch a little, so don't make your stitches too tight. He's a little cockeyed, and then I'm going to make that line go across here. I'm going to go ahead and come back up just in case it's not where I like it. Alrighty, so I came back up just in case, but I'm going to go right back in, and I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. And remember, leave it with a little bit of a stretch, because this is a cozy and it's going to stretch a little. There we go. All right. There, so now I have just a little cockeyed smile. You can do it however you want. You might want this last one to go the other direction, so I'll show you how to do that. Let's pull that back out. There we go. You might want it that way, or you may not want it there at all. One other thing that you can do is you can add little buttons, like maybe a school bus or some crayon buttons or whatever that you want to this to personalize it for the teacher or friend or whoever you're making this for. There we go. You might just want to leave it off and leave the little cockeyed smile like that, which I kind of like it like that, so I'm going to leave it. All right, so let's go on the inside again, and I'm just going to make a few stitches just so that everything stays put. Needle came undone. So basically what I'm trying to show you here is you can decorate this however you want to and personalize it for whoever that you want. You can even stitch the word number 2 for a number 2 pencil. Or you could make it in colors, because pencils do come in different colors, or make it look like a colored pencil, like pink or purple or something. But anyway, that's the way you make a little cockeyed smile on our pencil cozy. All right, so let me show you the best way to slip these on. What I do is I turn my jar upside down. I put this on like a sock on a foot and just slide it on. And there's your silly little smile. If you want to add one. If you don't, it'll look like that. And then if you want to use this, it does the same thing. It's a little more stretchy, but it works just fine for pencils or a jar cozy for a drink. Both of them work great, and it's a great way to make a gift for that special teacher.